Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel.
Pit lane speed
Sorry
limit is
for the
30
long
miles
way
per hour.
off
Exit's clear, don't cross the white
videos.
line.
Just had a ton of
Jake,
stuff
we've
going
got
on
2
outside
laps.
of
Let's get this
iRacing
done.
that I needed to kind of get sorted out and get figured back out. So anyway, jumping back into it for week 3 here in the SK Modified Open Series. This will be a setup that's available on the Team Cool Squad website. I will have a link in the description box for it. Going out for qualifying, going to complete lap 1. It's not going to be very fast. Hopefully lap 2 will be quicker. That's typically how I've been running with this setup. Lap 2 is better. Found a very weak field, unfortunately. Car number 2 out of 12. So qualifying 7th is not very good to start, but should easily be able to pick up 10th or so, 10th and a half.
That's the end of the session, P7.
Moved us up to 6. So, yeah, not looking really good for me telling you to go get the setup because that's obviously not very good. I think the race part of the setup, though, is much better than the qualifying. It tends to run a lot better on the long run. It does not fall off anywhere near as bad. You got to be careful to not slam on the throttle coming out of the corners, but it is most definitely a lot better on the long run. So hopefully, me starting on the inside, or actually we're starting on the outside, try to pick up a couple of spots, and I'll see if I can try to get down to the bottom as quickly as possible. Just try to work my way back to the front. Obviously, expected to finish second. I'd like to get at least probably a 4th place finish out of it, if not a little bit better than that. And big thing's just going to be to try to
Make them count. The track temp is
hold on to the
8.
tires,
The air temp is
try to keep it as clean as possible, avoid spinning, not sliding off, and yeah, just see what I can do out of it. That's going to be the best thing I can do. Had a bit of a rough go to end week 2. Try to get a Super Late Model Fix Series race in, and that was probably one of the worst things I have ever ran. Just people being absolutely stupid. So destroyed every bit of progress I've had from the iRating and safety rating standpoint, down to like 2340 or something like that, and like 2.2 something or whatever, 2.3. So it's gonna take a long time to climb claw that back, but I am certainly try to put in the best efforts that I can to get you guys clean races that are competitive and running towards the front to try to build that out for myself. So also, eventually you're probably going to see a few more week 3 races extend into what will actually be week 4. I am going to be out of town on a little bit of a radio control racing car trip for myself. So you'll see some extra stuff to kind of fill the gap between when I'm here and not racing. So
okay, Jake,
ready to
get
go.
ready.
5's off. We are off.
Let's go.
So again, you're gonna have to try to find my way to the bottom. We've got a wreck already. I just locked it down to avoid that. Somehow able to avoid incident points, but puts us all the way to the back. 1's back there, so top 5's gonna be a win at this point. I got on the brakes too hard trying to avoid the 1 and just tripped the rear end around, but not a great start, obviously. So just gonna have to claw, do what I can. Hopefully, try to find some sort of recovery so the damage isn't too bad.
Leader is just done a 15.04.
Just trying to hang to the outside and work my way through turn 1, and you can see that wreck developing. So I tried to do the best I could to avoid it. Definitely picking up to the back of the field for sure. Would expect that though. Again, it's top split and not very strong at all when I car number 2. So, like I said, this setup's pretty good on the long run. So, got to the inside of it as well. Just gonna try to pick off these people as quickly as possible. It's the only shot for me to get any room here in the top half of the field. See, we got 1 being freight trained to the outside, so try to tighten up to both the 7 and the 10. Looks like that's the 3 getting freight trained. 10 bounces off the outside wall going into 1. So try to find my way through these guys as quickly as possible. Obviously, kind of just have to sit behind the 7 and see what he does. but really need to get through them as quickly as possible to give myself as many laps to try to catch back up to the front of the field. Seven kind of makes a mistake. I'm trying to get to the inside of him. A little loose there off of turn 2. I'm trying to take the spot away. Just got to start maneuvering. 10 was not able to get there, so the 11 was the one that was getting freight trained, and he was actually able to find his way back to the bottom. Get too much of an apron there, going to too loose. Just going to have to try to find a way for 10 to make a mistake, kind of like that.
On your right.
Look at the run
Clear high,
on the
right
inside. I was a bit afraid of him coming down.
Still there. Clear up high.
Still driving
Right side.
outside like we're not there.
Keep it together.
I'm just trying to hold it on the bottom as best as I can and try to clear myself around him.
Clear up high.
I'm going to clear him and watch to see if he tries to dive back underneath. He should have the pace to pull away from him though. Just up into 8th. Got just under a second ahead to the 11, so let's see if we can start closing that down.
That's your quickest lap in this session.
Gotta make sure I don't overdrive the car. I know I want to get to him as quickly as possible, but cannot overdrive it. 3 went wide. Try to get to his inside. Going to the
on the right
1.
side. The guy in front is Tucker. Still there. P7. Clear. That lap time was
3 now.
1:07.
Up to 7. Top 5, I think it does seem likely any more than that. It's going to be pretty difficult because the front of the field is able to pull away. Start working on the 11. Pushes wide into
Right
3. Try to take advantage of that, get to his inside. Clear him. Thought the 3 was going to try to stick it underneath as well, but he wasn't quite there. Set our sights on the 9, try to go after him. Car feels great. Feels like a little bit loose, just slightly on that edge to where I can get it to rotate if I need to. Turn underneath somebody, put it where I want, but it's not like snappy loose either.
Coming up on your
9 pushes up, gonna do the same thing, get to his inside.
outside line's clear.
Clear him. We got 3 seconds to go up to the 8th and 4th, so
P5.
just gonna see if I can chop that gap down at all. I have 24 laps to go this time by, so it's certainly gonna be a monumental task to do, but if I can close up, I will, even if I can't get there, I know I had the pace to run better than where we are, so bit of a bad break for me, stepping on the brakes so hard trying to avoid that, but I was just trying to do what I could. I went high to avoid it, and he kept coming up the track, so I had to slam on the brakes at that point. We got down to 2.7. We need to pick up a little bit more than that if we actually want a shot, but
The gap behind is now
half the race left to go, it's possible that they could fall off a little bit harder than us. 2.4. Fall off in the setups these weeks are this week's not crazy high. I think it's only, you're only expecting like 3/10 or maybe 4/10 at the most, so it's not a drastic fall off from where your fast laps are. See, I'm actually turning my fast laps now because I'm finally getting clear track when I was stuck in traffic before. Fast laps should happen closer to like laps 7 to 10. Gap down to 1.8, so
Alright, Jake, you're halfway
we are
home.
certainly
Fuel is fine.
closing in on the 8 for 4th place.
The gap behind is now 1.69.
I don't think we're going to be able to go much more than that. It's 2.9 to the 4 and 3rd. So just keep an eye out for
You're in
that.
the sky, and the gap's now 1.54.
Just gonna keep driving,
That was at
consistent laps.
15.07.
Make sure I get the car slowed up enough, let it roll through the corners, be easy on the throttle coming out. A little bit of a
That
later
lap was
entry
at
into 1 compared to 3,
15.06.
kind of later apex 2. Which allowed me to continue closing up, trying to keep the thing right around the white line. Barely chopping away at the 4. So I think 4th place is all we're going to be able to do unless there's more trouble up front. But I'm certainly
1.01.
not going to let up at all. All that I can. Again, if nothing else, it just proves that I had the pace to run further towards the front than what the finishing position might suggest. At least we didn't get any incident points out of that, so it still stands to be a 0x for the race. 15 to go now.
That lap was at 15.14.
Definitely closing up on the 8, slowly closing up on the 4. 4 is going to be battling the 6 up ahead for second. 5's just gone.
You've just done a 15.10.
Just trying to work my way up to the 8. Kind of gets a little loose there, pushes up high. 3 and 4, wish I would have been closer to be able to try to dive underneath, but we're definitely working our way towards them. Love to see the 6 and 4 start battling side by side. That would potentially allow me to close up to them a little bit more. 9 slow on the inside by him with no problem. 8, I'm sure is going to defend. Just going to have to look for him to make a mistake. See if I can try to cut underneath him. Gonna back of the corner up to see if I can get a run underneath of him off of the corner.
And you're right.
Kind of like that. Really dive bomb, trying to keep it off, able to clear him no problem. I think understood that I was probably faster, so chose to let me get on by. Got 1.9 up to the 6, 3.5 to the 4.
15.30.
10 to go. No clue if I'm going to be able to get to them in time to be able to pass them. 5 is just absolutely gone. It's almost half a second or half a lap ahead. And he got the benefit of not being caught up in all of that mess to start. Take a look at the replay afterwards and see what happened. Big focus right now is trying to see if I can claw back after the 4.
We're matching race pace. Your lap time was 15.
Certainly feel like I had the pace to contend with the front. I mean, obviously, getting by everybody here if it had stayed clean would have been tough, but set up, like I said, definitely outperforms the qualifying part and definitely looks good on the long run. 6 and 4 kind of all over. See that? Got 6 to go. Trying to get as close to them as I can. See if I can insert myself in that battle for second. I would definitely consider a second place a great recovery for what this race could have been. I know it's a weak field and I should be doing it, but I'm proud of myself for battling back and doing what I could to get up front, but doing it cleanly as well. Let's look for 4 to have an issue off, kind of like that. Try to do the same thing, dive to the inside, get a little loose there inside of him off 1, 2. Clear him, gonna take 3rd away. Set our sights on the 6. 6 gets loose there off turn 4. We've got just 3 laps to go. Got the 9 up ahead. Don't know if he'll play a factor in this. Try to look again the same way to see if I can get to the inside of the 6 off the corner. Back the corner up. The 6 must be really tight as he uses the apron. I get way too loose there on the apron trying to get off, so it's going to make it tough to get back to the 6.
We're on for a podium here.
Not need to make that mistake. Could potentially get the 6th spot. White flag this time by. Gonna have one last shot at him. Have to try to time it off in turn 4, I think.
We'll be on the podium.
Trying to wheel the car as best as I can. See if he gets loose off in turn 4. He's gonna hang on to it, so we're gonna finish 3rd.
Coming up low side.
Tried to do all I could to get by and just made that mistake there with 3 to go and didn't leave me much I could do, so gladly take a 3rd place out of that though. Like I said, we are closing down to the 5 for sure. He was gone, but let's take a look. Take a look at the start and see what happened to the 1. He ends up finishing on the lead lap, but 1 lap or to the back of it, so. Okay, so let's see. Pace car goes, 5 comes off. Alright, so who's gonna cut down here? This is what's gonna be interesting. So the 1 takes off, kind of trying to do it in relation to the middle of the track. I think the 5's still coming up like he thinks he's clear, and he's not quite clear. And they make contact that way. So it kind of gets the 5 upset. But the 5's able to correct it and get himself just with a lower entry that he wanted. it got the one loose, so the one tried to correct back, and it overcorrected, and he ends up sliding down in front of the 6, and the 6 has nothing to do at that point. I'm guessing the 6 probably on the brakes, so that sends the one around, and then that extra shot. So this is the point where I saw him sliding, thinking he was going to be there. That extra little shot right there from the 6 sends the one back up the track, and that put him right in front of me, and that's when I I had to jump on the brakes as hard as I could to avoid him. We'll watch it from my perspective here. Because you can see I'm on the brakes, and then as soon as I see him start coming up the track, I just locked him, and that was my fault for hitting the brakes so hard that it spun me around. Like I said, I was really lucky to not get any contact from anybody. I'm lucky that I wasn't so far sideways that it gave me a 2x. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like there was much else I could have done. Like I said, when we came into this, saw the one get loose there, saw him start to go around, so I went to the high side, hoping that he was just going to lock it and stay down this way. I think it would have been, with the 4 and the 8 to the inside, I think it would have been really tough for me to try to cut back down to the bottom. And that's when he just shot up, and I tried to do all I could to avoid him. So, just an unfortunate break. I'd kind of call that, it's obviously the 5 should have probably stayed a little bit lower, and that might not have happened. He was, in my opinion, not clear, and I put that initial contact on the 5. Obviously, the 1 overcorrected. So it's tough to say that way, but not a bad run overall. Glad to recover back to 3rd. Could have had a shot at 2nd if I wouldn't have made that mistake, but pretty good drive. Tried to take shots when I could be as aggressive as I needed to without making contact with anybody or shoving them out of the way or putting them in bad spots. So pretty happy with how I moved back through the field. Take a look at the results. Obviously, I got the benefit of a couple free spots and some people that had some issues, but overall, it wasn't too bad that way. So take a look and see. I'm guessing we should at least see a little bit of a gain out of the I rating. Like I said, top split, 1764, really weak strength of field, really weak strength of field. I'm not even close. The one ran the fastest lap, 14:9:34. I was a little under a tenth off of that, but you can see he ran that lap 6. I ran mine at lap 19 because I was in the middle of traffic. So, pretty happy with with where I was. Tenth and a half off basically on the average lap of the 5, but quite honestly, if we were to look at the lap chart, I had to have been running quicker than him. I was definitely closing down. So again, it was that first lap that I had to slow down so much and avoid. So able to get away with it with 0 incidents. So 38 on the I rating, just under 2400 and 0.18, so up to 2.5. So long road to track back to where I was before this, but I will certainly get back up there and hopefully be able to put in some more cleaner races for you guys, get you guys something exciting. So sorry that wasn't the best one. Sorry we had that issue. I really feel like we probably, knowing what we know now, probably could have contended for a top 2, maybe even a win if I could have gotten my way back up there. So bit of a bad break off the beginning, just did what I could to try to avoid it. So feel free to leave any feedback for what happened between the 5 and the 1, if you see it the same way as I do. If you would have done the same thing that I did in terms of trying to avoid the 1 and then having to slam on the brakes to avoid him. Love to hear from you guys in general. Hopefully, for our first race back in a while, you guys enjoyed that. Again, you got to see me work my way through the field, so I know the setup doesn't look quite as good as it actually is, and again, with a better driver, it would definitely look even better. But by all means, if you want to run SK Open, it's a great setup. Even with it being close to the end of the week, feel free to grab it. Plan to keep building more of these, so you're going to see these coming out as well. It's a lot of fun when you can get a good setup that instills the confidence, and the racing's pretty clean as well. So it's been a nice change of pace compared to some of the fixed series that I've been running lately and dealing with some of the stuff in it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more races, and until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.